Hello everyone, my name is Zofia Kaczmarek and I come from Poland, and I work at Mickiewicz University in Poznań, Poland. So I'm really glad to be able to present my interests to you. I hope I will meet the high standards you already set with your presentations. So shortly about my background, I am also like Anik, I am an archaeologist and a historian. I graduated at Mickiewicz University, so I'm deeply attached to my university. After that, I did my PhD on cultural relations between the Roman Empire and Barbaricum, and also textiles were very involved in. I was very also interested in textiles in these cultural relations between these two big territories. So after that, I had a short break from academia, and I was back at the university in 2016, and from that time on, I work at the Institute of European Culture at Mickiewicz University. So actually, that's my background. What I do now is I work in a project called Romanization of urbanized areas in the Roman provinces of the Rhine and Danube in the first third centuries CE. And this is a project whose main objective is to demonstrate how in this provincial community, emerged, and to verify some hypotheses about the military factor of Romanization and urbanization. And actually the these urbanized areas as the shapers of the new community which emerged in provinces. So we basically focus on the case studies, on some of the examples of the town centers in the provinces, and we try to analyze them, how they were formed and created, and of course how they influenced the society, and how they influenced the Romanization of the indigenous population on these territories. I'm mainly interested in 3 provinces, and I'm also responsible for preparing the case studies and also to this research on the provinces. These are Raetia, Noricum, and Pannonia. So what else I do? I of course. Well, it all began to me with the word Romanization, because Romanization is now really a word which is much criticized in the scientific research, and because of its very how to say it, Romanization in a way is not accurate word anymore in these post-colonial studies, right? It kind of implies that the local communities accepted Roman culture without any resistance, and they were actually glad to welcome Romans on their territories because they brought civilization and things like that. So that's why I started to wonder if it's true. And during my research, I met a lot of words to describe what could happen when Romans came to the territories of Northern and Middle Europe. So it's like creolization, third way, the 200% theory, localization, of course, globalization, and something which doesn't have a name right now, but it's definitely not Romanization, but something quite different. And I was wondering what all these theories have in common, and I figured out that they all imply that the Romans brought a change to the territories. And this change influenced somehow the local population, and they had to somehow adapt to the new conditions where in which they were supposed to live right now. So, of course, what am I interested in concerning the urbanization, and of course, textiles and dress. So first of all, the main question I'm right now focusing on is how there emerged provincial community and identity on these territories in Europe. I was also considering, are there any peaceful strategies? Because of course, with Romans came the army, and much of the Romanization implied also the military conquest. But of course, well, the military conquest stopped at some point. So what were the peaceful strategies of cultural exchange? Can we name them? What were these integrating factors in these new societies? And also, I would really much enjoy to include non-elite members of the provincial society, because I believe that, well, before in earlier research, there was much focus on the elite representations of the population, and I'm not sure if it's well, it's not representative for all the societies. So I'd like very much to include these non-elite members of the provincial society. And of course, I'm also wondering if Roman values were really so important for the local community as the Romanization concept, well, kind of involved in it. So why textile and dress? And here is where my research is kind of getting close to what Anik is doing, or what Karina is doing, because obviously, when I was doing my research on Romanization, I met with these tombstones, which are very especially popular in Noricum and Pannonia, of tombstones of women, which are clad in well, something we can call indigenous dress, but they are having their, but on these tombstones you can find also some Latin inscriptions with actual Latin language. But the, for example, the Verruga stone you can see here, she has her Celtic name, her Celtic attire, but then she's holding spittle and this stuff, like just like the Matronas in other provinces, and of course in Italy, were holding. And she of course is using Latin to express herself, her name, and somehow her identity. So I started wondering if it's maybe a kind of her way to say how Romanization actually, how this change which Roman brought, if you don't like the word Romanization, affected her and, well, people like her. And here's another example. And here you have Latin names, but parts of, that's what Anika said, some parts only of the Roman dresses and some parts of the actual well, local attire. So it's also really interested how these things blended, and what did it mean in the terms of Romanization? How can Romanization be then reinterpreted and kind of put together the new definition of the word? How can it? That's why I got so interested in textiles and dresses, and of course the identity problem. So. That's also very interesting. So why, maybe again, what are my methods? was thinking that the kind of inspiration for the method I would like to use in my research, the inspiration came from the myth about Philomela and Tereus. It's the myth about Tereus having raped Philomela and mutilated her, and the only way she could tell her story was weaving it into textile. So I was thinking that maybe these people, this provincial population, the local population, or the new population, tried to tell their stories. They couldn't do it in written sources, so they tried to tell their stories by wearing what they were, but by showing who they were with their clothes, with their kind of only partly accepting the changes which happened. So why I joined EuroWeb, because it's kind of getting very important, especially if you compare what I'm interested in to what Annika is interested in. So first of all, I came here to cooperate. So to find people who are dealing with the same problem or having the same questions in mind, to kind of join our forces and try to find some answers. Of course, I would like very much to learn from you, because I know that your areas of expertise are different than mine, and you are all well-known researchers. So that's also. And of course, I would like to develop some inclusive methods of identity research. So not only including not only non-elite members of the society, but also to include all to include non-elite members of the societies. So what else can I say? So how can you find me? You can find me, of course, by my email address. And of course, I have my profile on academia and on ResearchGate. But well, what can I say to the very end of my presentation? I'm really excited to join EuroWeb, because I really hope that we can cooperate and create some new ways of researching the identity question.